Roadster Rumble night tonight, round 6 of the championship, thanks to Simworx Race Simulators. We are live from Suzuka International Racing Course tonight in Japan for our 560th broadcast on Racestars TV. G'day, I'm Luke, and I'm taking you through tonight's action as they just hit out their qualifying session now. The MX-5s, and they're out on the track. We've got a new class tonight as well, so there'll be actually 4 classes of driver groupings out there tonight. I'll run through those details shortly, but we're at Suzuka, Japan, of course. The layout, we're doing the GP circuit tonight with qualifying kicking off now. 2 laps lone qualifying, so they're the only drivers out on the racetrack to basically go up against the clock. There's no other cars to tangle with. It's all just about getting your best time in and see where you can put yourself on the grid tonight. We'll stick it over in qualifying mode just to show some sectors down the bottom. Hobbo already looking good. Wash and Paradiso as well. Lots of green sectors being put out there. We're waiting to see purple though, because purple's where it's at. 3 races again tonight. Race 1 and 2 will be a 5-lap sprint race in the MX-5s, followed by the race 3 finale, 12-lap feature race, 1 pit stop fuel in race 3, no pit stops in the first couple of races. Pit window will open at the end of lap 2 and close at the end of lap 12 for that feature race. Obviously you can't go through the pit lane on the final lap of the race. Suzuka, one of my favourite circuits, is such a fantastic, undulating, twisty little racetrack in the hills of Japan. It was great to see the flyover before the race, and once again visit that in Microsoft Flight and have a little bit of a look, because it is such a picturesque part of the world. So let's talk about that Group D quickly. And basically for the final 2 rounds of this series, Greg's created Group D. I'll be running the 2010 Cup car. All the competitors in this group are newcomers, so you'll see them tonight as I quickly put the little leaderboard up there. So Group D will be the yellow banners tonight when you do see some times start to pop up on the screen, and watch out for them. So they're the newcomers that will be just getting their eye in, ready for next season, of course, and all those competitors will just fight against each other after the next 2 rounds just to get a feel for the series. And the cars in Group D will be running as a very similar livery. In fact, they should all be the same. There it is. So they should all have that livery on, and it'll make them very easy to spot tonight. They got the P plate on the back as well. It's very cool. Clear skies tonight, so some good weather conditions for racing, of course. Here, there it is, 21 degrees, 23 track temp. This should be exciting tonight. So qualifying already halfway through. We do not have a time on the board yet, but I can tell you there's a few drivers just coming around to the final part of the circuit now. Here's a guy who's been quick throughout this series, Jack Boyd, and he's just coming down towards 130 now, the famous flying left-hand corner. We've got a couple of cameras set up down there. This one in particular picks up the entry speed, and then we can just catch his car like that and just watch him carry as much momentum through that very, very fast left-hander as possible. Now into the chicane, which is a tricky little, I guess, passing opportunity for these MX-5s tonight. There'll be a lot of braking manoeuvres going into that final chicane, then onto the pit straight, of course. Someone will try and run through here and put the best time down. Norman's gone to the top. That won't last long. Hobson goes to the top with a 23.0, which has just been eclipsed by Boyd. So it's Boyd, Hobson, Moroz and Turner. You can see the times popping in now. You don't see many cars out on the racetrack. That's because, like I said, lone qualifying. Mitch Dean's gone 9th. McMahon's gone 10th, and then Simon Joel Smith in 11th. So far, the top 11, as you can see by that blue stripe, are all Group A drivers. Just to run across what the different grouping of cars is tonight once again. There it is on your screen, just down the bottom. So you can see the Group A cars, the blue stripe. They are the Global Cup car, the most recent MX-5 car in iRacing. Group B is the Legacy 2010 Cup car, and then the Legacy Roadster for Group C. So Group D, which isn't on that little key at the bottom, will also be running that 2010 car. So we will usually see them stacked together. At the moment, Group B from 14th down, you can see, and Glenn Godson has just come across into this Group D category, so a newbie. I was going to ask Greg if I could put noobs up there instead of Group D, but you'll notice them with the P plate tonight. He's currently splitting a couple of the Group C drivers, which is good performance, and if he can do that, if he can get himself up amongst the top guys, that would be fantastic, and just show the pace that he can run. This man, though, looks in control. We've just got on 3.5 minutes to go, so they've got to get a wriggle on here. Nearly 2.5 minutes to do a lap around here, a flying lap at Suzuka. So there's 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Come on board for a little bit with Jack Boyd. As you can just see a couple of the times, bottom of your screen, Ray Harrison's gone a little bit quicker. So's Henry Fenson. He's just about to finish a lap now, Fenson. Let's see if we can just pick him up across the line to see where he's going to finish up. So there's Henry. He hasn't put a time down yet. Where's he going to end up here for the Group B competitor? He goes all the way up to 18th outright, which puts him 4th in class. So not too bad for Henry there. Just watching some other drivers on some pretty quick times as Jack Boyd is just coming through the last couple of corners now. So he's done a 2:23.03. Let's see if he can improve on that. Let's say Willie's just gone green through a couple of these sectors, which means personal best. He hasn't set too many purple sectors though, which means best of anyone. As we also watch Hobbo just coming down to finish his. So Hobson goes to the top by 1/10 of a second. Does Boyd go back? He doesn't. So there you go. Hobson has put it on provisional pole position with 2.5 minutes to go from Jack Boyd. Moz is back in the pits. Marty Turner's just crossed the line as well, so he's locked in his second lap at just in P4 at the moment. Let's watch Andrew Dyson. Can he challenge the top 4? He's 0.8 off the pace. It's incredibly quick at the front with Hobson and Boyd both dropping into the high 22s now. 2-minute 22s. Very, very quick lap. Richie Bennett would love that. A 2-minute 22.867. The fastest lap time at the moment. Losh is just a second off the pace in 6th as well. Glenn Boyd back here in 11th place, going quite slow, so he has finished his second lap. Schreier's also finished his second lap. He's 13th. Ridley, just as I crossed over to Kyle, he stuck it in the wall, so that's going to be the end of his second lap, unfortunately. He's gone P17, and not the best way to finish, as Greg Holmes crosses the line now, 22nd place, 6.4 seconds off the pace in Group B. So there is quite a difference in speed between these Mazda MX-5s, as you can tell by the times between the groupings. So as we put the class drivers up the top again, you can see Pears leading Group C. Great job by him. Andrew Pears has gone P28 outright. We've got over 40 competitors out there tonight. In fact, about 45 drivers ready to run tonight. The Group B leader, Ridley, great job by him, and he has gone, 18th outright. So nice job. Hobson leads outright and also Group A, and then Mr. Logan. Welcome again, Keith Logan, who is a great supporter of what I do here. He's running tonight in Group D, and he's topped the times. Look at that. So a 2-minute 29.96 for Keith. He's on the pace tonight. Look at the MX-5. It is smiling. It is loving the weather. It's loving Suzuka. Let's get set to go racing. I can't wait for this tonight. It's always a good one, Suzuka, but this Roadster Rumble is a ripper of a series, and big thanks to Greg. Big thanks to all the sponsors as well. Make sure you thank them. Top right of your screen. Watch them out throughout the night, because without them, we wouldn't have the Roadster Rumble. So as we finish up qualifying, 3 seconds to go, we're going to have the final order pressed out for us any second now. They will get ejected out of here. So there you go. It is Group A, Hobson, the top time out of anyone. Let's go down to the grid and have a look at those times as we get set for a start in race number 1. This is how they will line up tonight for round number 6 of the Roadster Rumble. Brendan Hobson will lead us away off the front row with Jack Boyd alongside. Rolling start, don't forget. There they are behind the Porsche safety car. Dyson will start out of 3 with Moroz, Turner and Losh off the 3rd row. Then Norman, Coleman, Seeger and Dean round out your top 10. Back to the 6th row of the grid. Glenn Boyd, he starts down there with Mann for company out of P12 over the page. We'll see the bottom of the Group A drivers now with Oliver, Schreier, Joel Smith, Sharp and Lehman down there in 17th place. Then it's the Group B drivers, the Red Stripe, 18th, Kyle Ridley with Fenson and Dutch behind him, Foster and Canto, White Carriage and Greg Holmes down in 24th place tonight. 25th on the grid goes to Van Egmond with Graham Ellis, another fantastic supporter of our channel here. 26th place for him. Graham, good luck tonight. Then it's Gogol and Keith Logan up there in 28th place tonight for the top Group D competitor, the new guys. Paradiso starts out at 29th with Pears, your top Group C competitor, starting out at P30. Cuthbertson and Harrison starts from 32nd, then it's Linus and Thorne down there in 34th place. Rodkin and Warners, your top 36th. 37th on the grid, big grid of cars, isn't it? Godson and more. Then it's Picken and Walker, Roberts and St. John down there in 42nd. Then it's Dylan Gray out of 43rd. Connors, Willits, Middleton, Nancaro and Hancock is in race control. Big thanks again to Jonathan Hancock. Not setting a time, of course, because he's up there watching and making sure everyone is well behaved. That's what we like. Alright, with all the drivers now, there is Hobbo on pole position. This is what it looks like from his cockpit view. He can see the Porsche safety car And looking back, that's what he can see behind. Plenty of drivers ready to rattle his cage as we get ready to... Oh, wait, let's get rid of the music. Let's crank up the sound for these MX-5s. They're not the most noisy race car we have here on Race Stars TV, so I'll crank them up as loud as I can tonight. How are you doing out there, by the way? Thanks, Graham, for the stars. And Damien, who's racing out there, saying thanks for the broadcast. Enjoy. Keith for the stars as well. And looking forward to this over on YouTube. Hello, everyone that's watching, tuning in. Hello. Welcome aboard. Make sure you get involved in the conversations tonight. Of course, I'll put some comments up on the screen from our Facebook viewers, and I'll try and mention as many people as I can throughout tonight's broadcast. If you haven't already subscribed to Type N Events on YouTube, where we're hosting all our live YouTube at the moment, please do so. And once you subscribe, you can start making some comments as well and getting involved in all that sort of shenanigans. We do have a fair bit of shenanigans on this channel. It's always a lot of fun. Right, here they go through the final chicane. The Porsche safety car will disappear off into the distance. Then the run down towards turn 1. It's going to be a longer one. So 18 competitors in the top, Group A. Then we've got Kyle Ridley getting set to lead us away for Group B. And there's a shot down the pit straight. You can see it's a long run to the green flag. So they'll have to be patient here. Wait and wait with Hobson in control of the start. There they are from up in the grandstand. You can see they've just split the groupings apart now. So the Group A's get a little bit of a buffer on the racetrack to the Group B drivers. Just splits them up, makes it a little bit easier to get through turn 1. Now we get the green. We get on the way in racing. Hobson leads us away down towards turn 1. They're already 3 or 4 wide as we expected. And here we go. The big push into 1 now. Around the outside, I think Moroz is making a move. I tell you what, Dyson's just dropped back a position there. Here we go now, out of the first big sweeping corner, up the hill through the S's for the first time, back in Group B. Fenson is leading that little charge as well, so he's done well off the start. But as we go up the hill, let's watch Jack Boyd. He's edged away from Hobson, then Dyson's in third. The next 5 or 6 competitors held position. It was Mitch Dean that's up 1 in 9th, and Sharpie's up 5 spots in the top 11. What a great getaway for this man, the SRT racing car. Sharp Racing, he's on fire. Out in front though, already Jack Boyd under immense pressure from Hobbo, who wants that position back. It's going to be a push in through this little tight right-handed down towards the hairpin we go now as they drop down the hill here at Suzuka, the old classic figure 8 track like we all had as a birthday cake when we were kids. It's a ripper of a racetrack, and Jack Boyd under immense pressure now. Hobson thinks about a dive down the inside, but he holds station. The tyres coming up to temperature. In the background there, a couple of drivers just making slight contact through the chicane all the way down to Fenson. There he is. Look how big this field of car is tonight. This field of cars, it's incredible. 44 plus competitors out there for the MX-5s, and what a clean getaway as well. I don't think we had a single car spin around in that opening exchange, so kudos to the drivers. I'm looking now at my listing of incidents. Not a single crash to write home about, so race control will be patting these guys on the back right now. That's a great getaway at the front. Boyd leads Hobson by just on a 1/10 of a second. Now comes the big old slipstream as they head towards 130R, the left-hander, flat out through here. And who's it going to be coming out the other side? There's the run. Look at him in. Hobson goes through. He takes a fair bit of grass with him as well. Hobbo through. Look how busy they are. Hobson's off the track. Now they go 3 wide into the braking zone. Hobson's dropped back to 3rd or 4th position with Turner going through as well into the braking zone for the chicane for the first time. Plenty of opportunistic moments here. There's Fenson going through now for Group B as well. And Keith Logan, here he goes. He's in 30th place, dropped 2 positions off the start. There's Thorne going through, up 3 spots into 31st. Anthony Connors has made up 9 spots into 35th. Great getaway for him tonight in the Extreme Racing entry. So good job. And Andrew Dyson now leads the race, up 2 spots. Race control just chiming in there. I wonder if there's a little bit of a penalty being dished out to someone for an incident at the start there. The top 3 just starting to break away from Hobbo now as they head up the hill once again. There it is. So Brenton Hobson just back. P4 now for Synergy Sim Racing. And he's got to try and stay in touch if he can with this little battle behind. Check it out. There's Sharp and Simon Joel Smith back further. There goes Willits with Fenson chasing him down as well. I love this. Henry Fenson's on fire tonight. He's dropped Kyle Ridley, who started ahead of him in class by about 1.4 seconds already. So he's moving along very, very nicely. The top 3, look at them bash over the curb there. Dyson, Boyd and Moz Moroz. Let's jump on with Moz, Arms Australia Racing. And he was 6/10 slower than Boyd on that opening lap of the race. Remember, we've got just these short little sprint races. Oh dear, he put a wheel on the grass there in the braking zone. That got a little bit hairy. And that lets Hobson just close up the margin slightly as well. Hobbo back now within a second of Moroz, then Turner a little bit further back. There's the little MX-5 smiling as always of Marty Turner. The Chicken Nuggets Racing, they did so well last round, didn't they? Good to see Marty back up there as well. Mitch Dean chasing them down, and they tend to be together, these two. Doesn't matter where they are in the order. But Marty and Mitch once again running 5th and 6th here. They got Losh just in behind, who dropped a position at the start for WBT Racing. He's got Coleman behind him, Seeger and Norman. Norman, another of the chicken up drivers. Let's jump on board with him as we run down towards 130R. Once again, getting good slipstream off Seeger here. Let's go to the overhead chopper cam and have a listen. Look at this, he might line him up for an overtake here. Watch the way they just flick it into this left-hander and hope for the best. Takes a little bit of curb there, does Ashley Norman. Very, very wide was Seeger. He may have to give that position up. Depending on if he got to slow down. No, he's late on the brakes. Almost centre and Prost into there, and they just get through, and he does move up another position. Ashley Norman up into 9th now. Great overtake. Dyson still leads out in front. I'm sure we've got a turn 1 camera. There it is, up in the stands. I remember setting this up last time I broadcast here, so look at this long shot for turn 1. What a beautiful racetrack. It's like a stadium section as they float in there. Jack Boyd back into the lead of the race now, with Moroz, and Hobson is now re-engaged into this battle. So they head up the hill. Check out the S's up the hill here as well. It just goes forever. So it's to the left, back to the right. The tyres are already screaming red hot by now. And you just got to hang on for dear life. Look at the back end there of Moroz just letting go and drifting its way up through the corner. Great to watch, and on board with him now. These little MX-5s are a pleasure to drive. If you haven't had a go of them in iRacing, head over, get yourself a Global Cup car, go for a fang. You'll have a smile on your face from ear to ear. But Boyd, as he has throughout this season, looking really, really solid out there again tonight. Top 18, holding position, all Class A drivers. And we've got Fenson leading Group B. Group C, still pairs. He's been a regular leading the Group C. He's up 2 spots into 28th. And Keith Logan tonight doing a great job leading Group D, the noobs. The noobs, all the new guys grouped into Group D. We've also got Glenn Godson, there he is, another new driver. He's got a bit of a ding in the back end of that car. James Middleton's another one, running in 36th, so he's up 10 position. That's a good way to knock off your noob status. Move up 10 spots in the race. Nick Warnes as well, running 42nd, and Timo Moore down there in 44th place for More Racing, brand new to the series, and they'll all be looking for their place come season 5. So back with the top drivers now. Boyd, Dyson, Hobson's there. In fact, Dyson and Hobson are side by side. Hobbo's got the inside run here, so this will be very, very close between them. And who's going to come out on top? They tip it in. Hobson stays on the inside. He drifts across in front of Dyson, and Dyson just ducks back in behind. Watch Moroz in the background as well for a late braking lunge. He gets right up onto the back of Dyson too, so nice effort. And as they go through to cross the line, I'm going to see what time Jack Boyd does here, because this looks impressive. Once again, it's going to be quick, and he crosses the line there with a 2.2.5 versus a 2.2.6 and a 2.40. So Dyson there was a little bit off the pace, 4/10 off the pace of the quick guy. It was Losh that did the fastest time of anyone. That time round, Wayne Losh did a 22.56. A great drive by him. Look in the background of Dean and Coleman wheel to wheel. And that was Mitch Dean up 3 spots now into 7th position. Owen Coleman right behind him, almost leaning on the bumper bar up the hill. And absolutely flat stick pedal to the metal, the chicken up racing driver. Imagine the nerves right now when you've got Owen Coleman bolted to the rear bumper bar and pushing you up the hill. This is fantastic. Behind them, Ashley Norman as well. And then Damien Seeger has dropped a couple of positions now. He's pretty quick at the start of the race, but now he's just dropped back a few. Glenn Boyd still held position from where he started as well. He's in 11th, from starting 11th on the grid. Then it's Oliver, Lehman and Sharp running in that order. We go back further. Fenson, there he is, still leading Group B. He's got Ridley right behind him now though, so Kyle thinks right now's the time to to try and get this back. Look at that, he took 3/10 out of him on lap 2 and 4/10 on lap 3. So definitely closing the margin down. We go back to Pears, who's absolutely flying. He's 7 seconds ahead of his closest competitor in Group C. And he's got, in fact, Keith Logan behind him, one of the Group D competitors, to challenge. Andrew Pears is actually knocking on the door here of knocking off Dave Gurgle for 27th outright and another Group B competitor. So fantastic job. Righto, here we go. Let's go back to the top because we're just heading down towards 3/4 through the track now, and then we're going to get the white flag, 1 to go. These 5-lap sprint races, we've got 2 of them to kick off the evening, and then we go to that 12-lap finale. Nick Wood says good luck to Steve in the Phoenix Smokers Mazda. I presume it's Steve McMahon. There he is. So he's running 15th right now behind Adam Sharp. Sharpie's doing well, up 2 spots. Lehman as well. Sam Lehman just up there in 12th, up 5 positions tonight. Great drive. It's really close. So look at this battle between Norman and Dean. The teammates are leaning on each other, and Norman got a bit of a hip and shoulder. He goes off the circuit, comes back on, takes the cone with him. He does not lift out of the throttle at all. Seeger goes through, says thank you very much. We start the last lap of the race, and this is the battle for P1. Check it out. Down into the braking zone, turn 1, they just tuck it into the corner. Dyson and Boyd side by side behind, and Moroz also getting the best look in the house of this 3-way battle for the lead as they head up the hill. Hobbo will lead us into this final lap. Is that where you want to be though? With Boyd dropping back to 3rd now. We're seeing some great overtakes, some great slipstreaming in this class, and we're going to probably stick with this battle throughout this final lap because it is absolutely on. I'll flick to a couple of other battles, because Fenson looks like he's going to be able to hang on here from Ridley, although Ridley's having a late lunge. So this is the battle for Group B. Great close fight here, and Ridley gets alongside Fenson now up the hill. Fenson just remains in front. Will Ridley try and send it up the next inside? No, he doesn't. He stays in position. So the battle for Group B is strong. Then you've got Pears. Not much of a battle there for his position. So we'll go back to the top, because I think this final half a lap is going to be pretty exciting. This is on board with your race leader, Brenton Hobson. And he's got the very fast Andrew Dyson behind him, Jack Boyd and Moroz. Any of these 4 competitors could win this one. I tell you what, Marty Turner's joined the party too. So we've got 2, 4, 6 drivers, with Wayne Losh now bolted to the back of the top 5. 6 drivers that could take this win. Who's your money on with half a lap to go? Hobson leads, not by much. Dyson is going to go down the inside here. Goes through the overtake, and he makes it stick, does he? Hobson hangs it on the outside, tries to stay on the circuit. He almost pushes him off. He continues to run the outside here. Jack's having a look on the inside too. We're 2 wide down the back straightaway now. This is going to be interesting because Jack Boyd's actually in a good position. He's P3, but he's getting a great draft here behind Dyson. He'll actually push. He'll try and push here and try and get in front as they head down towards 130R. Check this out. This is going to be quick. This is going to be nasty. They almost lean on each other through there. And then we head down into the final run to the chicane. It's Dyson in front. Watch the braking though from behind. Who's it going to be? The overhead shot tells the story. There's a little bit of contact there, I think, but Dyson comes out sideways in front of it all. And I think Andrew Dyson is going to win this one. What a great effort that is. He runs to the line, and it's going to be Dyson who takes the checker flag from Boyd and Hobson, your top 3. Super good racing in race number 1. We've still got 2 more to go. How cool was that? And this is the Roadster Rumble at its best. We'll watch the battle for these guys. This is the run into the chicane. This is Group B. Ridley just ahead here of, in fact, Fenson's got him back. So Fenson looks like he'll hang on here for a Group B victory, but Canto and Ridley are right behind him. Ridley's dropped back to P3, P4 in fact in class. And it'll be Fenson, Foster and Canto that take out Group B. What a great run to the line. Fantastic job. So Fenson ends up getting the Group B honours. And let's now have a look. It's Andrew Pears who crosses the line for an easy P1 in Group C, and Keith Logan wins Group D by a country mile. In fact, he was 17 seconds ahead of his closest competitor. That's your first race run and done. How good was that? The MX-5s on a Monday night, Race Stars TV. Andrew Dyson takes out the win. let's wait for the results to be made available to us from iRacing. We're watching Andrew Dyson on his cooldown lap. What a great drive. We should try and get him in for a quick chat between race 1 and race 2. We will go straight across to race 2, so it's a quick turnaround here tonight. We'll try and go through at least the top 3 results in each class before we go to the grid for the next race. Jokin's in the house. Says good clean racing. That was good clean racing. Good to have you watching too, Jokin. And hope you're doing well, mate. As we see, I think we're about to get the results. It's a long wait. Here we go. So iRacing sends them across to us now. Here they are up on your screen. So it was Andrew Dyson. Let's go class by class. There's your outright win, of course, but Group A, let's run straight with that to start with. And it was Dyson, Boyd and Hobson, your top 3 in class. And we go to Group B. Let's check it out. It was Fenson who edged out Foster, Canto, and really look how close that was between Foster and Canto. Nothing in it at all. Ridley, who started on the pole for Group B, ends up P4. Group C was Andrew Pears. Great drive, 8 seconds ahead of Ian Cuthbertson. And Bard Rodkin got 3rd spot in Group C. Then our brand new group, all the newbies. Group D tonight, Logan, Godson and Middleton, your top 3 in that. Keith Logan with a 17-second victory there over his closest competitor. All right, let's head down now to what will be the grid for our next race. Andrew Dyson once again starts up the front with the progressive grid. He'll start on pole position this time. Jack Boyd will start alongside Hobson and Moroz off that second row with Turner and Losh, Coleman, Seeger, Dean and Boyd, your top 10. Just run quickly down through the rest of the order there. You can see Fenson, Foster and Canto will be the top 3 in Group B. And then Group C, we've got Pears, Cuthbertson and Rodkin, with of course Keith Logan and Godson leading away our yellow band Group D competitors. Let's get set to go racing. So another 5-lap race getting underway. It goes very quickly, doesn't it? Greg Holmes straight there on the chat, just probably congratulating everyone on how good race 1 was. That run down towards turn 1, I was very surprised to not see at least a pile up somewhere in the field, but everyone got through super clean. But let's get set to go racing. So it's Dyson versus Boyd. Watch Hobbo off the second row as well. I think he's probably going to get a pretty good getaway, a good slipstream down towards turn 1 and may even come out on top. Moroz will be beside him. Losh off the 3rd row will be one to watch as well. They've left a big gap this time back to the Group B competitors. So all the top 18 there on the screen. Group A drivers getting set for the get-go. We'll hear the revs rise shortly as we get the green, and Hobson straight away bolts onto the back of Dyson, and the push becomes shove, and off they go. Trying to get a nice little run here down towards the first corner. So it's Dyson leading us in. Boyd on the outside gets a wobble on. Hobson will probably try and go down the inside and look at second position by the exit of the corner, though he got a little bit squirrely himself. Down in the pack there, Dean and Norman. Was there contact? I can hear contact with the Group B. Whoa, wow, that's Fenson. Fenson, the drift master, thinks he's in Tokyo Drift here. He's gone way out into the fence. He's lost a stack of positions, and we've got our first big stack of the night. And Simon Joel Smith is going slow at the top of the hill. And what's happened down here, we've got 3 or 4 competitors. I think Jeremy Pickens is one of them, and they're just getting themselves back up and running now. James Middleton, oh, there was a little secondary crash there, was there? Interesting. This guy here, who's that? Anthony Connors. Won't be happy at all with that. There's been some contact, and it looks like he may be out of the race. So Jack Boyd leads us away at the front. They stayed away from the action, these guys. Boyd, Hobson, Moroz and Coleman. Now, who did we lose out of that top? Andrew Dyson down in 16th place, can you believe? So that's who we lost out of the top battle there. Dyson had a shocker off the get-go. Let's have a quick look and see if we can't pick up a replay on what happened to Dyson, because he's lost the most amount of positions out of anyone in Group A. Let's have a look. Here it is now. No, that's Andrew Dutch. I'll try and find Andrew Dyson's incident. And I wonder if he just ran off the circuit. It hasn't come up with a crash indicator, so we'll try and find it for you as we watch the guys at the front continue to battle here. Dyson is going to have his work cut out for him after such a good drive in race 1. Remember, a progressive grid as well towards the final race and the longer race. You don't want to start too far back. You're going to have to make a fuel stop as well. And Hobbo here on the back of Boyd, continuing to help him push along and disappear into the distance. So it was an off track for Dyson. Let's have a look. Here's a replay. So he just got out of shape. Luckily that Wow, how good is that no one collected him? That was a huge moment, and that's how quickly you can lose about 15 spots, folks. So have another look at that in slow-mo. How did no one make contact here? So check it out. The big old drift up the hill. We won't get it from that angle. We might try this angle. There you go. Look at this. So the top two, Boyd and Hobson, go either side of him. And then Coleman, Moroz and Dean, Turner, Seeger, everyone else just puckers up and says, right, we've got to try and get through here. And they do. Andrew Dyson credit as well. Oh, who was that? That was one of the chicken up guys as well, sliding off the racetrack. So much going on at the start there. But all in all, good job by the competitors to miss what could have been a huge crash and take many of our drivers out. So Boyd leads Hobson and Coleman, Moroz, Dean, Turner, Seeger, Lehman, Boyd and Willits, your top 10. This battle at the front, very good. Let's go down to Jesse White-Carish, who's running 19th outright and leading for KP Tech Racing, leading the Group B competitors from Greg Holmes, who's just in behind as well. Philip Paradiso. So we lost quite a few of the Group B competitors. There's only 4 there in this little bunching. I think that crash, Fenson of course went wide, Ellis as well. We haven't seen too much of tonight, but there's Graham up 15 spots now. 28th position outright. Great drive from the back of the field for Graham Ellis, so this will work well towards his feature race as well. Mark Foster's just behind him for FSR, and trying to catch Graham as they head up the hill. Then it's Group C competitor Michael Nankara. He's just currently running in 30th place. Bard Rodkin, how is he leading the Group C? Keith Logan once again leading Group B. Keith's just in front of Rodkin as well. There goes Rodkin. Looks like he's got his Twitch channel on the side of that car, does he? There you go. Bard, what is it? We'll try and read it out so you can go and check it out. Bardo50 is what his Twitch is. So go check that out and see what he's up to. And then Keith Logan, Group D, 23rd outright, running very, very well. Once again up 5 spots, continues to push forward. Surely Keith's going to earn himself a drive in a higher class here if he's not too careful come next season. Back at the front, Hobson and Boyd, wheel to wheel. Who's going to come out on top of this one? They go through side by side down towards this final chicane. We pick them up, and it's going to be Hobson still leading. Boyd follows him in. Then Coleman and Moroz, Turner, Seeger's there as well. Up over the curb they go. Willits goes through. Andrew Dyson back to 14th, so it's a long, long road ahead for Dyson. He goes through there, out of shape. The back end of the car, it's almost swapping around on him. And a 2 minute, what was it, a 23, new fastest lap, a 23.1 for Hobson out in front. So he's looking very, very good as they sweep down through turn 1 again. We've got some lap traffic up ahead at St John. They'll be getting the blue flags. Eggman as well. Both these drivers will need to get out of the way shortly as they head up the hill through the S's. We've got another slow car down the track there, just getting out of the way. Good run up the hill. Where's Sharpie? There he is. 23 spots up now for Adam Sharp, and fighting here with Jamie Willits side by side up the hill. Willits just in front by a whisker. Drifting their way through the corner they go. You can just see behind them Michael Schreier, and then Andrew Dyson's dropped back to 14th. So he lost another spot there. Dyson will jump back on board with him. He'll be trying to, Schreier's not a weak competitor. He's a very fast driver. So Dyson's got his work cut out for him here. He'll try and get alongside. He's got some slower cars in front as well. And now he tucks back in behind Schreier. They've cleared the lap car. And look at Sharp wobbling around. He'll try and work his way through here if he can, up maybe down the inside at the hairpin for Dyson on Schreier. Schreier leaves the door open because there's a lap competitor there. Then he slams the door shut and parks the car right in the middle of the race circuit. Dyson tries to go the long way around. He'll try for a switchback, but not close enough. So it's going to look like a hard afternoon for Andrew Dyson, isn't it? McMahon back there in the Smokers entry. Phoenix Smokers, 16th. Currently held the same position he started the race in. There's your race leader once again, Hobbo, out in front. Hobbo 88 streams over on his channel. Go and check it out on Twitch if you've got time. He'll be out there right now talking to his fans and followers and enjoying his racing as he always does. Boyd P2. Look at the gap back to Coleman. Then it's just on now 1.7 seconds. Turner and Dean. Almost sounds like a movie title for a lovesick hound. Turner and Dean. Turner is just running 5th now with Dean, and then Lehman, who's in a great battle here with Seeger, and Glenn Boyd now chimes in. Is Glenn Boyd going to go around the outside of both these drivers? He has to think about it. And as they go through the chicane wheel to wheel, Looks like Seeger will hang on the outside, which becomes the inside for the final corner onto the front straight. And Glenn Boyd just has to tuck back in. Coleman does a new fastest lap of the race with a 23.0. So he's turning the wick up as well as Hobbo continues to stay ahead of Jack Boyd. Lap 4 of 5. So penultimate lap in our second sprint race tonight. Hobbo at the moment, listen to that Woombar exhaust. At the moment just leading by 0.2 of a second. Here's the battle with Schraer. Let's jump into some visor cam for the first time tonight. Right up the hill here with Michael and have a look at what it looks like to drive on board with one of these MX-5s. Enjoy. Putting on a fight. There's a big train of cars, almost like a DRS train. They just can't get past each other. They're all getting slipstreams. And Brenton Hobson continuing to lead. Back in B class, Jesse White Carriage continues to lead by just on 4 seconds over Holmes, and then Thorne, Greg Holmes, at the moment just staying ahead of John Thorne, who's thinking about a look here. But Holmes is doing a very good job again tonight. The Extreme Racing car up 5 positions to 20th now, so a top 20, which will be a nice progressive start for the final race to start out at 20th. Here's the battle with Moroz, Turner and Dean. Dean are on the back of this now as well. Let's have a look. He'll get a nice run out of the spoon here. Onto the back straight away. If he can get a good exit, he might be able to line up his teammate and Moroz and get a 2-for-1 burger deal at the end of the straight. Moroz in the 767. There's a lot of aircraft numbers out there, I've noticed. 767, we've got a 747 out there as well. We've got the 777 for Jesse White Carriage. Some aircraft lovers maybe, or is it just a coincidence? Hobson and Boyd tackle this final chicane now behind them. Coleman just running a lonely third. Then it's Turner, Moroz and Dean. This battle is red hot. As, oh, gee whiz, I thought Dean was going to go around there for a second. Hung on to it well. Enters the straight now, just behind Moroz. Final lap of the race at 22.9. So Boyd he's wound up the wick now. Jack Boyd goes to the lead with 1 to go. The white flag waving in the background. And Boyd leads us down into turn 1. A car length ahead of Hobbo with 1 to go. Then it's Coleman, Turner, Dean, Moroz, Lehman, Seeger. This battle red hot as we then look back to Aaron Oliver. There was contact there. Aaron Oliver and Simon Joel Smith just going down through the first corner now. That's Simon Joel Smith, middle of your screen. And you've got Schraer, Willits, McMahon, Sharp, running a little bit of a lonely 16th. Losh, Norman, White Carriage. They're quite spread out, as you can tell from our fixed camera how far the distance is between them. The battle I want to watch though is the one for first and second, obviously, and also the other one for, I think it's about 5th, 6th and 7th between Dean, Moroz and Lehman. There's nothing in it between them. This is now on board with Moz. So that's looking forward to Turner and Dean. And you look behind, that's Lehman and Seeger. Very close behind. So anyone can take these minor places. Good points on offer as well, but importantly, that progressive grid, probably worth more than the points, especially for the longer race tonight. Remember, there's some strategy involved. 1 pit stop required for the final race. You will need to take fuel on board. So Hobbo, what can he do? Will Boyd hang on to win this one? The gap just over well, it's on 1.5 tenths, isn't it? So just over 1/10 of a second now as he closes right back in again. Hobbo has been in this situation many a time. He'll keep a cool, calm, collected head here for this final back straight towards 130R. And I reckon he may be in a good position here, and there's a lap car up ahead too. Could that play a role? It's Jeremy Pickens, who's a fast driver in his own right, but he's in that Group C car, which is a little bit lacking in pace. But let's see how they go. They're wheel to wheel through 130R. Hobbo on the outside. It's going to be very tight. The lap car is going to be right there in the braking zone as well. As Hobbo timed this perfectly, he goes to the inside. Hobbo, they swing in. The lap car does the right thing. In fact, it gets out of the way. Hobbo's got a great exit. Boyd's lit up the rear tyres and he's lost position. Hobbo's going to get this one. He goes through the final corner now. The checker flag drops. Hobbo 88 takes the win in race 2 from Coleman and Boyd. Wow, Boyd lost another position to get third. Marty Turner gets ahead of Dean and Moroz, then Lehman, Boyd, and Andrew Dyson fought his way back to ninth. Good job. Seeger at the line is just going to edge out Simon Joel Smith for 10th. We look back further then to Jesse, who's coming around in 18th outright, but the top Group B competitor. Should do this easily. About a 5-second gap here back to Greg Holmes. So Jesse White Carriage gets that 18th position. Greg Holmes will come home in 20th place outright, but second in class, just ahead of Philip Paradiso. So that's nice and close. They crossed the line there, only just, not a lot in it, 10th of a second between them. Then we look back to Keith Logan again, another great performance. He gets up 4 positions, 24th outright for a win in Class D ahead of Ant Cuthbertson, who takes out Group C tonight. There you go. So Logan once again just proving how quick he is, and Ant Cuthbertson doing a great job in Group D. So good second race of the night. We'll get the results up shortly before we have a short break, because they always like to have a little bit of a toilet break, these guys. 5 minutes or so before we then go to the feature race. But how good was that? Clean racing once again. If you're enjoying this, give it a like, a share, follow, subscribe, all those sort of things, and bring a few friends over to watch this great racing, because it's a great league. The Roadster Rumble, thanks to Raceworks Simulators, or Simworx, sorry, Race Simulators. Big thanks to Simworx for getting on board and sponsoring the series, with all the other sponsors as well, as they flash through on the top right hand side of the screen. Make sure you thank them for us. Back with you shortly for race number 3, the big one, the feature, the finale. It is a 12 lap from Suzuka. Here's your results up on the screen now, and we'll go through class by class once again. Group A, kicking off the results for race 2. It was Brenton Hobson with the win over Owen Coleman and Jack Boyd, your top 3. Great performance. Let's head across now to Group B. And the top 3 from Group B with the red banners, it was Jesse White Carriage there, P1. Greg Holmes got a great second place there with Philip rounding out your top 3. Group C, and it was Ant, wasn't it, that got the win there. So Ant Cuthbertson by 2 seconds over Bud Rodkin, who had a good race too, and Andrew Pears rounded out your top 3 there for race number 2. Then it was Group D, Keith Logan once again just showing the form that he's got. Takes the win over Glenn Godson, who was 10 seconds behind, and James Middleton, your top 3 in the Group D, the new drivers. And a big thanks again to Jonathan Coleman, who is in race control tonight. Quick warm-up session now. The drivers can go out, spend a bit of time on the racetrack just to get used to the conditions, ready for the 12-lap feature. And remember, they'll have to make 1 pit stop in the 12-lap as well. If you want to be part of this season, if you want to get out there and race against these guys, get in touch. The Roadster Rumble, there's a link in the description to the series, and you can go and join up to that as well and have a run, because they're very fun cars to drive, very forgiving. And Timo Moore is one of the new drivers for Moore Racing. He's out there having a blast tonight. And you too could find yourself with some great prizes as well, because they do hand out some cool prizes in this series. It's a really well-run series by Greg Holmes, and a very generous series as well. So thanks, Greg. Let's enjoy this big race coming up shortly. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be back with you soon. You're on Race Stars TV. Race 3, the final race for this evening. This is how they will line up on the grid. It will be Brenton Hobson that will lead us away from pole position. Rolling start once again tonight. And beside him, Owen Coleman will start from P2. This should be exciting with Jack Boyd and Turner off that second row. Mitch Dean and Moroz off the third row. Lehman, Boyd, Dyson and Seeger, your top 10. Michael Trey will start from 11th tonight. McMahon in the Phoenix Smokers racing car out of P12. 13th on the grid, Willits and Losh. Then it's Oliver and Norman out of 16th place. White Carriage, he starts from 17th tonight with Sharp out of the top 18. Greg Holmes will start from 19th tonight with Paradiso rolling up one position into 20th. Thorne and Fenson off the 11th row of the grid with Keith Logan rounding out your 23. And Cuthbertson alongside the top Group C competitor. 25th on the grid, Bud Rodkin with Foster, Godson and Ellis alongside him. Then it's Pears and Joel Smith. Middleton and Linus down there in 32nd place. Nancaro, Canto, Dutch and Walker rounds out your 36th. 37th will be on the grid tonight. 37th goes to Pickin with Ridley, Harrison and Eggman down there in 40th. Google, 41st tonight. Warners, St. John, Roberts, Connors and Moore down there at the back of the grid. 46th, Dylan Gray, the 47th competitor tonight. Out on the racetrack, it's a huge field of cars. And of course, Jonathan Hancock, big thanks to him over in race control, watching along, making sure that everyone is well behaved. Let's get set to go racing at the start here. Get rid of the music. Once again, Brenton Hobson will get the chance to lead us away. And Jack Boyd will be looking for some revenge off the second row of the grid. He's got Marty Turner alongside as well. What can they do? We wait for the green to smoke out the back there of Coleman's car. So they split away. You can see the top 18 drivers, once again, Group A. Different classes of MX-5. They're all Mazda MX-5s, but they're in different categories, different classes. And quite a speed difference between them as well. Let's wait for the green. Let's get set to go racing. There it is. There's the noise as they get away well. And it's Hobson leads us away. Boyd straight away up into P2. He's on the back of Hobson, pushing along nicely. In behind them, it's Turner, Dean, Moroz and Lehman. As they roll through turn one, this is where we saw some incidents in race 2. So far, so good this time, though, for the top 18. They've all got through without any incident. Then it's White Carriage and Fenson this time keeps it together. Doesn't go sideways like the first time. Look at the run up the hill. So many cars, 46 competitors get through without incident again. And as we look back, check it out. Check out this run up through the S's. Oh, there's a spin. There's a big spin. And wow, we've lost a couple of drivers up there. I think Greg Holmes was one of them. Holmes, I think, went off the racetrack and he's gone a long way off the track. He's gone to the back of the field, Greg, so unlucky. Our series organiser will have race control go and have a look at that for sure. But Hobson leads from Coleman, Boyd, Turner and Dean as things will just start to settle down, hopefully now at the midpoint way of this first lap. You can see Dyson made up one position. He's trying to resurrect what happened to him in race 2. And good run so far for a couple of other competitors, including Ashley Norman, up into the top 12, up 4 spots off this opening half a lap. And Simon Joel Smith, 13 positions in one lap from way back on the grid. 30th place, up to 17th already. That's incredible. So good getaway. We've got a bit of a bingle down the back here. This is between, I think, Anthony Connors, Nancaro, and Roberts was another one. Nancaro spins the car around and gets running again. It's going to be another little questionable one to look at from race control there. Back to the front, Hobson leads. Coleman and Boyd. Boyd trying to get his way back towards the top end now. You can see the top 7 competitors have not moved from where they started on the grid, but here goes your first one, Boyd, having a look to the inside, and he'll get that move done, so he slots himself up into second. Now he can get on after Hobson. And it's going to be close too, because Turner's having a look at Coleman on the outside. You've got Dean just in behind as well. They almost make contact. Now the teammates, remember, they did bang doors in race 2. Once again, they're entangled in a battle. They've got Moroz behind them, and then you've got Lehman and Dyson. Dyson's moved his way up into 8th place, so great job from Dyson here. Just to get himself back in check. Could he get a podium still? After being so far back, he dropped back to 15th at the start of race 2. Clawed his way back up into, I think it was 10th or 9th, and now goes down the inside on Sam Lehman and puts himself up into the top 7. Great job. Lehman goes back to 8th now. And then it's Glenn Boyd and Schreier to round out your top 10. So good close racing again between these top competitors. This is Group A, the top drivers in the faster of the MX-5 cars. Don't forget, with the classes that we do have out there, the blue represents the Global Cup car, the red is the Legacy 2010 Cup car, and the green is the Legacy Roadster, the slowest of all of them. I think it's pedal powered, the Legacy Roadster. I think you've got to actually stick your feet out through the chassis and run along. Right, here goes Andrew Dyson again, looking to try and overtake Moroz, getting very, very close. Let's jump down onto the nose cone here and watch this attack right underneath the KP Tech and the Palmer's Australia signage down the inside, having a big look. And it is a big look for Dyson up into 6th place. He got the move done too. Well done. So Andrew Dyson just showing his form here. Moves himself now back up into the top 6. Hobson still leads out in front. The gap 0.5 of a second. Probably the biggest lead we have seen tonight with Brenton Hobson. What's Jack Boyd got in response to that? Will he need a little bit of help from Owen Coleman to maybe push him along the back straightaway here? Just to give him a bit of a... it's almost like what they do in the skating, isn't it? Where they give a little bit of a push and then fling them forward and jump in behind. Such a cool thing to watch. It works on ovals. These MX-5s tend to do it on any racetrack, which I think is quite hilarious. Big battle behind here with Moroz. We look back a little bit further, you can just see him sweep through 130R. It is really a lot of trust put into your tyres and your ability when you just turn the wheel and hope for the best there. I tell you what, they're pushing through the chicane again tonight. Where's Aaron Oliver? He's just gone through. So Oliver's just on the back there of Losh now. Losh into the pits, so this is strategic. He's gone right. I'm having my stop now, nice and early. Someone else has gone in, Aaron Sharp as well. This could work out well for these two competitors. They've got to make sure they don't speed in the pits. That'll be the first thing to do, right? What it will mean is they'll come out in a bit of a battle with some Group B, some Group C, possibly Group D competitors as well by taking this early stop. But they've all got to do it. It's compulsory. You've got to make a pit stop sometime throughout this race. Why not do it now and get out of the battles? There goes your top two. Hobson, Boyd and Coleman's in third. Then we go back to Group B. It's Fenson, the sideways king, currently running in 17th outright, first in class ahead of Jesse. And then you got Phillip running back third. There's Phillip. Jesse's having another great race here. 18th spot outright for the 777 Mazda. And someone going backwards there. Ridley's just having a fight here with Philip Paradisa. I think they're all good. Keep getting those off-track flashes. That's because they do take a lot of the curb here. And it gives them a, you can see as they run off the exit curb there out over the grass, that gives them a little off-track flash. I think it probably costs them an X. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've done any iRacing at all, but I'd say it probably gives them an X by running out on the grass there. We'll have to confirm that. Andrew Pears leading Group C, and once again doing a great job. So Pears in Group C, Logan this time behind. So every race so far tonight, Keith Logan's been able to be ahead of a Group C competitor. This time Logan, who's just getting attacked here from John Thorne down the inside. Nice overtake. Logan, I wonder if he's carrying a little bit of damage. He's 26th outright. This is the first time he's lost positions too. He's back 3 positions back from where he started. Keithy boy, Graham Ellis running 28th where he started. Great to see Graham fighting here with Matt Van Egmond. This is for position. We're right on board with Graham Ellis. No stress racing. There's no stress from out there tonight. Lap 3 of 12 in this Roadster Rumble round 6 feature race. Matt Van Egmond, they're using all of the racetrack and more. Good to see Graham fighting on. Let's go back to this battle with Simon Joel Smith, who's made 15 spots up now. And he's got ahead of Steve McMahon. He's got Aaron Oliver next up the road. There is Oliver in the number 70, another of the Penrite racing cars. Phoenix Smokers on the side of that one too. It's great to see the sponsors for the series getting a really good run on the cars. Credit to everyone that makes sure their liveries match up, because it's all about giving those very loyal sponsors as much airtime as possible. It's fantastic. Good way to thank them. As we see what's happened down the back of the field there. Dutch is in the pits. And there's a bit of conversation going on, I think, with race control. Just watching now as well, Dean. This is Dean, who we're currently watching with Moroz, and I think it's Andrew Dyson just in front, a bit out of touch then with Dyson just through the S's anyway. Dyson's pulled about 4/10 of a second up the hill, showing he's got a good flow on through those corners. The battle behind as we see the beautiful Ferris wheel in the background. Dean, Moroz and Lehman. Great little battle here for what is 6th place. Let's jump on board with Sam Lehman for Simworx Racing. And he's now, oh wow, out on the grass for Moroz. Using all the track and about a car width more. Luckily not to stick it in the fence there. Sam will have a look to the inside. The car wobbles around under brakes. Gets a great turn through the corner though. Tell you what, the front end bit then and it absolutely slingshotted out of the corner. Moroz stays ahead, so does Mitch Dean at the moment. For the Chicken Up Racing team, back to the front. This is Hobson leading by 2/10 of a second over Boyd and Coleman. Lap 4 of 12. Let's jump on board here with Coleman as we watch Hobbo going very wide on corner entry. Let's run down this back straight. Sound up. Battle going on at the front, which it has done in every race tonight, let's be honest. This has been super tight racing throughout the field. A couple of the drivers, lap 5 jumping in for pit stop, so McMahon and Foster both in the pits now. That moves Keith Logan up into 24th outright with Graham Ellis. So two of my, I'll tell you what, two of my most loyal supporters here for Race Stars TV are running now 24th and 25th in this race, which is good to see. They're going to have their own little battle here. I reckon gloves off between Logan and Ellis. This will be good to watch. And ahead of them, who's kicking up all the dust there? I think that might have been Paradiso. Someone's kicked up a stack of dust in the air as Pears came through. Still leading Group C. And just ahead of that battle between Logan and Ellis as well. So it's still Logan in Group B. Fenson, who's been a bit of an unsung hero here again tonight, leading by a second Group B over Jesse White Carriage here. This is for 16th outright, 6 spots up tonight. Simon Joel Smith still our biggest mover and shaker. In fact, no, Matt Eggman has now taken that title away. So Eggman's up 17 spots to be in 23rd. And Wayne, oh dearie me, Fenson's just gone around again there, and Jesse goes through. Says, thank you very much. I'll take away your Group B lead. Just as easy as that. So the battle for first. We've now got how many cars? What is Jack Boyd doing there? Swerving all over the place. And here they go through 130R. Flat stick. And Boydie holding on to second. They all run wide through there. They take a lot of curb with them. And there's Boyd with the turner just behind it. Dyson now right on the back of this top battle. So this man who's had an up and down night tonight, Andrew Dyson's taken 4/10 out of Turner on lap 4. Let's see what he does as they cross the line here for lap 5. I reckon it's going to be even more. So they cross the line. Here it is, 24.0. He took another 4, nearly 5/10 out of Turner on that previous lap 5. So great drive, and he's saving fuel. Listen to that, big fuel save there from Dyson as he heads down through turn 1 in that Simworx.com entry. Very, very good. So there you go. This is good battle now for the top 5. Well, first position is a battle with 5 competitors heading up the hill. Then it's a bit of a gap back to Moroz, who's got Lehman, Norman, Boyd, Seeger for company inside the top 10. Then Schreier just outside the top 10 for the Synergy Sim Racing team is about 1 second ahead of Aaron Oliver, Willits, and Joel Smith, White Carriage, Fenson, and Canto, who's 3rd in class at the moment. There's Dylan Canto for Extreme Racing running 3rd in the B class tonight. So your class leaders here on lap 6, the halfway point of the race. It's Hobson leading outright, Class A leader. White Carriage leading Group B, and Pears leading Group C once again. Keith Logan is your Group D competitor. He has been super consistent tonight. He's an absolute weapon, Keithy boy, and once again looking like he's going to take out a Group D sweep tonight. So Hobson, can he take the win in the feature? This is the one they want to win because it brings them to the broadcast room for a chat. And he's looking sweet so far. Still a long way to go. Halfway point of the race. We're 13.5 minutes of racing in. So they are short races really, aren't they? Even a 12-lap race here. What's that about? Half an hour. So it's pretty easy considering what these drivers are capable of doing as far as longer races. So, but I love this format. I think they've got it absolutely spot on. I think I've probably up to about 9 or so broadcasts with the Roadster Rumbles now since they came across to Race Stars TV, and have absolutely enjoyed every single one of them. It's been a thrill. There's always close racing, and you've got some of the best drivers out there. Hobson and Boyd proving that once again. Look at this run down into the braking zone. On board with Hobson for Synergy Sim Racing, looking back over his shoulder. And Coleman ran right up over the curb there. And the attitude of the car spoke a little bit of uncompliance as we watch Andrew Dyson once again tucking behind Marty Turner. So that time he only took 5 100ths out of him. You can see the previous 2 laps he took half a second. So now he's caught up to the back of Turner. Passing seems to be a different kettle of fish. But Jack Boyd's not getting anywhere near Hobson. I reckon he's enjoying just staying behind Hobson and saving a little bit of fuel. Let's ride on board with Jack and have a listen to the engine note. Shifts down up the hill there, especially running into some of these braking zones. Just have a listen to how much Jack Boyd is probably saving fuel, and what that means. He'll be able to shorten up his fuel stop and jump ahead of Hobson in the pit lane. So you'll know that on track alone, it's a pretty tight fight with Hobbo. You're always going to probably have a 50-50 chance of maybe snatching a win off him if you're both really super competitive. But on the previous race, as you saw, Hobson got through the final chicane clearer. Boyd lit up the rear tyres, got a bit sideways. That ended up costing him not just first but second as well. He came third. Have a listen for fuel saving. I reckon there's a bit of fuel saving going on. Not a huge amount. Boyd definitely just working that strategy tonight. Let's go to the leader of Group B, Henry Fenson. Once again, beautiful drive. He's been sideways a few times tonight, but he's always bounced back. He's ahead of one of the Group A drivers, Wayne Losh, 1.25 seconds back to then White Carriage, and then Canto, the third driver in Group B. Now, is that massive fuel saving? It was. The clutch in there, it sounded so odd to hear the revs just drop and have nothing on at all. Ray Harrison's leading Group C, doing a good job. So did the El Rey racing car. Ahead of Pears now, but Pears has stopped on lap 6, so that'll be a short-lived little lead in class here. And what's happening with Keith? Keith's still leading Group D, and he has stopped as well. So once again, Keith looks like he's got himself one hand on the champagne already. Lead battle into the chicane. It's a very famous chicane, this one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars covered by just on, what is it? The gap, 1.5 seconds, and they're all in the pit lane. In fact, Marty Turner, the only one that stays out. Everyone else jumps in the pits. Turner says, I'm going to take a leading lap here. You guys can go and hang out in the pits. I'm going to go through here and just enjoy the fact that I am number 1. There you go, sliding into turn 1. The 49 car leads Moroz, and then Glenn Boyd tucked in behind, and Seeger and Schreier up into 5th now, yet to stop though. The top 5 have not stopped. Then Fenson, White Carriage, and Dylan Canto. I'm going to say Dean Canto then. Dylan Canto in 16th, also yet to stop. Jesse just missed the chicane altogether there. Has to do a little bit of a car park turnaround back out onto the racing line, which was close as Dean went through, and now goes to the pits. So Jesse into the pits for pit stop there for the KP Tech racing car. So we've got Willits and Canto also in the pit lane. Marty Turner leading the race here on lap 8. So let's give Marty some airtime. The Chicken Up racing car, number 49. Driving very, very well. 23.5 last lap, at 22.5. fastest lap of the race. This is your fastest laps up on the screen now. You can see it is held by Marty Turner. So the gap back to the closest competitor that has stopped is 28 seconds. So there we go. If we just bring up, what I'm going to do is on the track map here, I'll try and just bring up first and what is it? First and sixth place will show us those two drivers, and that's where they are on the track. So there's sixth place showing up nicely. Let's go on there. So let's try that again. See if that's going to work for us. Come on, there you go. So there's the gap between on the track map there, first and sixth place. First being Marty Turner, that has not stopped, and then our first driver that has stopped, right there, it's Brenton Hobson, just heading through the big right-hand sweeper now towards Spoon. So, and he's in a real tight battle here with Boyd and Dyson as well, who's now tucked in and is battling for P3 in this race ultimately. But Marty may still have a shot of joining this party depending on how quick the fuel stop is. It was 13 seconds stationary, a 37-second transit time. Now you've got to remember, you've got to take a bit of that time off because they all have to stay on the racetrack anyway. So they're coming up towards, Hobson's coming up towards 130R. Turner's in the pits, Moroz, Boyd and Sieg are all in the pit lane. Schraer will probably follow in as well. So there you go, they're in the pit lane to take their final stop. This is going to be quite tight, I think. So Hobbo just going down to the chicane now. I'll tell you when they're stationary. So Turner's now stationary, taking fuel on board. Should be a pretty short stop. 5 seconds of fuel now on board. 7 seconds, 8, 9, 10. Should be leaving shortly. And, well, it's a long stop. 14 seconds, 15 seconds. So a lot of fuel being taken on here. Probably a little bit too much. So 13 seconds. No, it was more. It was 16.2 seconds worth of fuel taken on board there, which ultimately means P1 is now being left to these guys. Hobson, Boyd and Dyson come through the trio. Lap 9 of 12, heading up the hill. I think it's now a 3-horse race, folks, between Hobson, Boyd and Dyson. 3 of the best are going to battle this out to the end. Then it's Turner, who did come out in P4. Started 4th, Marty came out in 4th. Great job. So Hobbo leads. We'll highlight a fair bit of this battle towards the end. I try and share it around a lot, but to be honest with you, this is where the big action's at. We're going to go through the classes again. And of course, we want to give Keith a fair bit of airtime because he actually shared the stream tonight. There he is, Keith. The driver that shares the stream should get a lot of airtime. And Keithy boy is a massive supporter and has done a lot for this channel in the background. A lot more than you'd probably ever know. So thanks, Keith. Southern Cross Racing entrant tonight, leading Group D once again. He's going to take a clean sweep of the Group D tonight. And I reckon it's time to dress him in a blue bannered Group A car shortly, I reckon, judging on his pace. Andrew Pears leading Group C once again tonight. There we go. So we've got Fenton leading Group B, Pears leading Group C, Logan Group D, and obviously Hobson, outright Group A competitor. Absolutely flying. This is the battle with Pears, though, and Pears has got just all Group B drivers for company. So he's got Dutch just in front, and he's got Eggman just behind. His closest competitor is Cuthbertson, a massive 12.6 seconds back up the road. So it's looking pretty comfortable for Pears to take out that Group C win tonight. The top 3. Let's hang with this little battle for a moment. Down towards the chicane they go, and watch out for Dyson at the back. Late on the brakes. He'll be lining this up, and I reckon, I'm looking at the pit stop times, Jack Boyd took the most time out of all of them. He took 14 seconds worth of fuel on board. Compare that to compare that to Hobson, 13.4. Compare that to Dyson. He only took 11 seconds worth of fuel, but he was doing a lot of saving at the start of this race. So let's jump back on board with him. Up 6 positions in the feature, once again saving fuel. Maybe he figures that because he is in P3, he was going to spend a fair bit of time saving fuel anyway, so why not take a risky strategy on fuel. Adam St. John's in the house. He says, caught the grass, towing. That's never fun. Can I find a replay of that? Let's see if we can get a replay of that, considering you bothered to come and tell us. Let's have a quick look for you. So here it is. Went off the track. Quick replay of Adam going for a bit of a spin. Here it is. Catch that pesky grass. There it is, a little bit of grass, and bang into the fence. Crumples the front end of that little MX-5. The smile turns into a frown, and Adam St. John has to go back to the pits. So there you go. That's how it happens. And if you come and tell us on the chat, we're going to go and always expose the crash. Here we go. So back with the top 3. Lap 10 of 12. It's still, Hobson, big moment there. The back end. Did he also just touch the dirt on entry to the corner? That would have lit the eyes up for Jack Boyd. He's at the moment just focusing in on the back of Hobbo. Trying to do anything he can to get up an extra spot here. Gets right up underneath the back end of that Mazda. You can almost hear the scream from the exhaust of Hobbo's car as Boydie just covers the inlet, or the outlet I should say, as Dyson. Good exit speed. Let's just listen to his onboard. He'll try now and take as much of this back straight in behind Boyd and Hobson as he can to save fuel. We just start to lift out of the throttle now, maybe at 3/4 throttle, and you can just see on the brakes there, Boyd actually checked the brakes, continues to check the brakes. So he's also holding back. They don't want to be leading. They figure that being P2 or 3 is the ideal place to be, probably till the last lap. So let's go have a look at some lower battles here. This is Seeger battling Ashley Norman for 9th place. Good little fight here as well. Lovely the air time they get off the curbs. It's always good to watch. They go Schreier. We'll try and pick up Simon Joel Smith. He's coming through that same corner. In fact, here comes Willits. Let's grab Willits. Just watch the air time here from Jamie. Bang, up on the curb, 2 wheels in the air. Here goes Simon Joel Smith, 2 wheels up in the air. What about Fenson? Fenson will give us some 2-wheel action for sure. He's side by side here with Kyle Ridley. This is for Group B. So Fenson only leads Group B by 1/10 of a second now. He's going super defensive. In fact, a fair bit of swerving there. Very close to that. Wow, so close to the grass on the kick in there to 130R. So that was commitment. Benson and Ridley with Adam Sharp, their 19th outright. He's a Group A driver. He'll want to try and get ahead of Fenson and Ridley if he can, just for the glory, or for the not for the embarrassment maybe. Adam Sharp just tucked in behind. That car should be fairly quick in a straight line, being that it is the latest MX-5. Generally about a second a lap quicker just in race pace as they start their lap 11 now. Look at that. You can't get past them in a straight line though. So I find that a little bit interesting. Let's go back to this Turner battle between Turner, Moroz and Glenn. Boyd's joined the party as well. So the Boyd racing entrant. Sam Lehman just disappeared for a moment there and then reappeared. We lost Sam Lehman off the timing chart. Yeah, dropping down. I reckon a disconnection there for Lehman. Sadly, gone off the timing screen. Continuing to fall down. So Lehman out of the race. Back in the pits by the looks of things. Jack Boyd leading by this much. So we've had a change at the front. Hobson goes back to second. Andrew Dyson third. Hobson playing piggy in the middle here. And the run to 130R is going to be tight. Here they go. 2 abreast. Hobson back in the lead. Jack Boyd on the inside. Dyson has a bit of a look. Sends it round there. And here they go. Once again, who's going to come out on the other side ahead? It's Hobbo for now, but Boyd round the outside, which becomes the inside of the chicane. And they just get sideways through there, and Hobbo somehow hangs on. Great driving. The Chicken Up Racing entrant of Marty Turner, holds on to 4th as well. White flag, 1 to go. Look in the background at Moroz. Who's that off the track there? Is that one of the lap cars or is that Coleman? I think it was Coleman. Going for a Leyland Brothers adventure. Comes back on and holds 7th place. Has dropped 5th in the feature, so won't be too happy with that, no doubt. And Moroz here on the blower to someone, be it a competitor or race control. Catching up to Glenn Boyd as well. Boyd under immense pressure now. Final lap of the race. We're a 5th of the way through it, and this is the battle for the lead. And Hobson's got himself a handy little couple of car length margin over Dyson and Boyd. So this is good. Good for them anyway. Keith Logan's had an internet dropout. Can you believe? After I'd just given you the prop saying you're going to get a clean sweep in the Group D tonight. That is unlucky, man. So that moves more now up into Timo Moore moves up into the Group D class lead in the feature A, so that's unlucky, Keith. Have to get you hooked up to the satellite a bit better, mate, as we watch Hobbo continuing true to the halfway point of this lap now, and what is it, 2 car lengths to the lead over Dyson, who looks like he's got Boyd at bay now. Hobbo will be hoping that Boyd and Dyson just fight now for that second place. That might just release Hobbo for another great victory tonight. Don't forget, he streams over on Twitch, Hobbo88, go check it out. He's coming around now, the big sweeping right-hander, the gap, 1, nearly 2/10 of a second, but Dyson will still have something in the bag. You never know at this Suzuka circuit. The slipstream now down the back straightaway will be crucial. And there is your top 3. Hobson, Dyson, Boyd. Then it's Turner, Boyd and Moroz back there for 4th place. That's not over either. Seeger's on the back of Norman. Losh is on the back of Schreier. There's battles wherever you look tonight, and it's going to come down to the wire. Let's go to the chopper cam for this one. So it's Dyson that leads us in now to the final couple of corners, to the chicane. Could this end in tears? Could we see an incident? Down the inside, Boyd has a big look on both of them. Hobbo turns in. There's a little bit of contact. And Dyson's going to win this one, you know, because Hobson and Boyd have ended up just losing some track position. To the line they go. And Andrew Dyson crosses with a win. 1/10 of a second just ahead of Hobson and Boyd. What a great event tonight. That was some close racing. The top 3 covered by 4/10 of a second. And Andrew Dyson with a recovery drive comes back 8 positions to take out the win in the feature race. Incredible. Simon Joel Smith looking like he's going to come across the line to lead his class, but looking to Marty Turner did get 4th in the end. Moroz got 5th. Coleman got 6th. And we're just waiting for the lower classes to come through. But then it was Schreier behind Seeger, Losh, Boyd, Dean and Willits got 13th. Simon Joel Smith crossing the line now to take out 14th, up 16 spots, so good drive in the end. McMahon got 15th, then Kyle Ridley takes out Class B. Well, it's not over yet. Let's watch this Class B finish now. It's Ridley and Fenson battling towards the final chicane. Ridley just ahead of Fenson. Fenson disappears, reappears on the outside. That's not ideal, but Ridley will get through the chicane. Oh, wow, it's close. How about the run from Fenson to the inside? They go to the line. They're too wide, but Fenson looks like he's got this done, and Fenson takes the win in Group B. What a great finish and a run through the chicane. Really straight on the blower. I reckon they enjoyed that, those two, but Fenson gets the honours. Andrew Pears will bring it home for a Class C victory in the little Simworx Racing MX-5, and good to have a Simworx car win its class tonight. Big thanks to them as for their sponsorship of this Roadster Rumble series. That was the worst effect ever. Andrew Pears takes out the Group C, 20th outright. Fantastic performance. But Andrew Dyson tonight was all class. We'll get you some, we'll get some results up on the screen, and we'll get some interviews with the drivers shortly and round out tonight's round 6 of the Roadster Rumble. Incredible performance. And we'll go have some interviews with some of these drivers. Looking forward to it. Just about a minute, get them in there for a chat. Finish up for this evening and wait for some drivers to have an interview. Let's look at a replay of the start, and we'll grab them in for a chat now. But congratulations, a fantastic win and a massive recovery drive. Andrew Dyson, well done, man.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I had to snatch some strap out of that race to try and pull myself back in.
It was so good to watch, mate. Talk us through the big slide in race 2, of course, because that put you in the awkward position to have to come back through the field. But how lucky were you not to get collected by someone?
Yeah, everyone did a really awesome job to not run into me, particularly I think it was Moz. He was right behind me on the grass, all sorts of stuff. He did a pretty awesome job, but yeah, that's what you get for being a clown and trying to slide. I got to that corner that goes up the hill and I overdid it, completely lost it. And sorry to everybody who I scared, or people had to run off the road or whatever. That's all my fault.
Well, everyone sort of just got through. There wasn't too many people having to jump off the road to avoid you. It was just a bit of luck as well. But Andrew, man, good drive. 8 positions up. There was some great racing too with Hobbo and Boydie there towards the end. The three of you really sort of tucked into a battle for most of that race.
Yeah, man, that was good fun, dude. Like, those guys are faster than me. Like I said, I'm just kind of throwing out the tow rope to latch on and try and make something of it. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Those guys were super clean. It was awesome.
And we're just waiting for him now, so here they come. So we'll grab a Hobbo in now because he's got P2 tonight. So, Brenton, some great racing, man. That must have been fun out there. Even though you didn't get the top result, still looked like it would have been a lot of enjoyment.
Yeah, it was good. The racing was good tonight. Nice and clean and hard. It was a good track for these cars, actually. Although it's not a track that I particularly like, it did race really well tonight. It was good.
And I was just chatting about that race 2 slide from Andrew as well. That would have been a pucker-up moment.
Yeah, it was for sure, for sure. I saw the smoke and I thought, oh, he's cooked it, and then it looked like he caught it. But they're super dangerous, the cold tyres here on the first lap, or everywhere on the first lap. So the second slide just got away from him, I guess. But I was lucky, and I think we might have split him just about. I think
he did, yeah.
When he went around, but I think everyone behind might have had a hard time. It wasn't a good place for that to happen for everyone behind us.
It did look very cool. And Jack also here tonight, P3 in the feature race, made some fantastic racing out there. It's sort of one of those events where you just don't know who's going to be on top and you're hanging back, for the final lap of the race. It's not really the last lap you want to lead here, right? You want to be second or third and then see how it all works out after the end of that back straightaway.
Yeah, made a few silly errors there as a bit of rookie errors, but that's alright. It was really good racing. Yeah, races like that at this big track with these little cars, you really just have to stay in the game till the last 2 or 3 laps. And yeah, it was awesome racing. Unfortunately, I sent it a bit hard on the last corner, but yeah, that's racing, and we all got through.
So much fun tonight. Thanks, boys. Let's do some thank yous for your personal sponsors and friends and all that sort of thing. Starting off with our winner for the feature tonight, Andrew Dyson. Who would you like to thank?
Just all the guys who put on the event, yourself for putting on the broadcast, and all the guys that jump in the stream and chat and do all those things, because that helps get the broadcast out there. So thanks.
Yeah, it's a great series, this Roadster Rumble. P2 tonight. Brenton, who would you like to thank, mate?
Yeah, thanks to SSR and sponsors, Wave Rider Performance Centre, Smith & Sons, DGD Customs, and all the rest, and to these lads for coming in and banging doors with us each and every week. It's great fun.
Yeah, 46 cars, man. It's such a big field of drivers as well. It's a fantastic series. And Jack, P3, who would you like to thank?
Yeah, just like to thank all the guys for coming and racing and keeping it clean every week. It's also awesome fun. There's definitely some door rubbing happening, but yeah, it's really clean racing and heap of fun.
Awesome job. That's your top 3 tonight in Group A. We're going to head across to Group B now. So thank you, Andrew Dyson, Brenton Hobson, and Jack Boyd. Congratulations, guys. Group B drivers now. Let's have a look at the results for Group B, and it was a win to Henry Fenson and Kyle Ridley. You guys had a mega run to the line as well. Enjoy watching that. Well done, Henry.
Thanks. We've had a good battle all night in the first race as well. He got unlucky in that last chicane both times, and I was able to capitalise.
And talk us through that last chicane, because we watched that. You just got a better run out in the end. You actually had to commit though, and push for that run out of the chicane. You took a chance and you won it.
Yeah, to try to grab third halfway through and just get the power down, and luckily I was able to squeeze up the inside and hold him off.
Great drive tonight, man. Who'd you like to thank for the win in Group B?
I'll thank Stockman's the sponsor. Gives me a feed every night before the race, so I'm always well prepared. And
awesome.
Thanks to my girlfriend. She watches every week, no matter how bad I drive.
Fantastic. Well, that's awesome, man. All right, thanks, Henry. And it's Henry Fenton, and with the win there in Group B. Congratulations.
Thanks, Luke.
Cheers, mate. Right, we haven't got anyone from Group C, but let's have a quick look at the Group C results, and that's up on your screen now. Group C went to Mr. Andrew Pears from Cuthbertson and Pickens, or Picken, I should say. Jeremy Picken did a good job at P3 there. And then finally, to wrap it all up tonight, Group D, our newest class for the new drivers, Timo Moore ended up getting the win there from Nick Warnes and Keith Logan. Sadly, he was going to blitz that one. He got himself a disconnection, unfortunately. His internet dropped out when he was on for a win in Group D. But some fantastic racing, good battles as always. How good are these MX-5s? If you want to join this series, all you got to do is go and check out the Roadster Rumble on Facebook. Get in touch with Greg and see if you can get yourself a run in the series come next season. Andrew Dyson tonight wins the feature race. That's the Roadster Rumble run and done for another week here on Race Stars TV. We've got heaps going on in the next week. So make sure you check out what's happening. We've got, of course, tomorrow night, F3A. And that will be, round 12 of the F3A series. So we've only got 3 rounds to go. Round 12 tomorrow night. Then we kick off the Pro Invitational series from Sebring on Wednesday night. That will be over on their YouTube channel. It will be simulcast across all the team channels and Race Stars TV. I'm doing production for that. We've got some great commentators and a great team, massive team of people involved in that one. So check that out on Wednesday night. Then V8 Veterans Thursday, Friday, and Aussie Sports Cars kicking off round number 8, I think it is, of their season on Sunday. So big week ahead for us on Race Stars TV. But as always, it's been a pleasure having you here. I'll catch you very soon. Good night.